Good afternoon, Stephen. How you doing?
Great, thanks, Thomas. How's yourself?
Excellent, mate. It's been a week now since we received our awards for 2020. And I was so excited to sit down with you and discuss about your, not only your finalist and nomination, but especially your wins.
Yep, thank you. It was been a crazy week, really.
How was that? How did you take that to get a trifecta?
Wow, it's total surprise. I mean, there was some really tough competition in that same bracket. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to win one award was a big surprise, let alone to take a second and a third. So, I mean, it was just awesome for that to happen.
Did you have a doubt, though?
I have a doubt that I would take three.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I was going to take one. So, of course, I had a doubt I would win three.
A lot of people go, hold on, it's not possible to win those three, but really it is possible to win way more than three, right?
It is. I mean, anything is possible.
But those three, to me, represent something. So first of all, there was the Bobbi-Jo Awards.
Yes.
And that's about your resilience. It's about your get up and go. Whether it is you going out there and help people and in order to get other people to win or feel better, or actually take advantage of something. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm thinking while you're doing this, but one year, for example, we were doing a charity and we didn't have the right ABN in order to work as a charity then. And you somehow just asked, I think your Rotary Club?
The Lions Club.
The Lions Club,
yeah.
Yes, to sponsor and do something for us. But in counterparts, they wanted you to join.
That's right.
It's been now 4 years and you're still there, aren't you?
Still there, yes.
And you're still doing your job, which is, I'm not joining you in order to get this. 4 years down the road, I'm really an active member in doing certain things.
Yep.
And I think that's the Bobbi-Jo kind of spirit, is that you go out there and do whatever it takes, but then along the way, you get new duties, new responsibility, and you carry on with them.
But that's what life's about. I mean, if we're not out there to make it better for everyone, I mean, we're making it better for the world, but we're also making it better for our friends and our families and the people who we work with. I mean, it's becoming a better world, so you've got to keep trying for that.
Then we had the George and Tricia Butcher Award. And that one there was about the ability to just uphold the highest values. And to me, it's a tough one because when things are tough, especially in a COVID year, it is very easy to stray away from values. It is very easy, as I've seen in 2020, it's very easy to go back to selfishness, to think about ourselves. And if we didn't get more, well, now we're going to retaliate and try and get more. You went the opposite, that direction. Then we had the ambassador, which is representing a person who upholds all of these qualities that it takes to carry the flag, if you will. I mean, even at the Olympics, there might be 200 athletes. There's one that somehow has been chosen to carry the flag. It's a great honor to carry the flag. Maybe it's an honor because on a battle zone you die first, but in our field it is not the case, right?
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. I mean, there's a chance of anything happening, but it's still that honor of doing it and honor of being able to see that the right thing's done along the way.
Yeah. The ambassador for me, it's almost the kind of symbol of a person who I would know would look after the organization should anything happen to myself or Veronique, right?
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
No.
But if that was the case, I would be right up there stepping into whatever we've got to do and ensuring that everyone's looked after.
That's nice. So let's ask you now, what's the difference between your win and the people who wish they could win?
Well, I think there's two sorts of people who wish they could win. They're the ones who were also finalists, who I think it was so close. I was glad I didn't have to be a judge and vote on any of those because I think they were equally, and in some cases, I think better people. But, there was obviously the combination came that it went my way and became the winner. But the people who, I guess, wish they could do it, it's the difference of probably really living those values and virtues that you mentioned. I mean, I know people who talk to me and go, I'd love to get that award. What would I have to do to get it? And it's not really a matter of what would I have to do. Some of these things are built into you. When I first started my business myself back in 1991, my mum worked around the corner in the news agency. And I always did the right thing. I was brought up by, my mum and dad to be a good person. But I always built my business and my culture of my business on doing the right thing, and that if I did do the wrong thing, someone would walk around the corner to the news agency, tell my mum in front of a shop full of customers and absolutely embarrass her. And that was how I built up the business that I do. So wanting to become someone like that is someone that you don't necessarily just become overnight. It's really been bred into you and built into you, but you can do it. But it's a matter of not just changing one or two things. I mean, it's nearly a lifestyle to live like that and just have those values and virtues that nothing can change. They're just set in stone, and if they change, it's because they get stronger or firmer. That's the only way they change.
Oh, that's quite nice. Because I was going to ask you the question. I mean, is it something that one can learn, or is it someone that one is born with, these qualities? What is it? Because those three have got one thing in common, and the quality that those three awards have got in common is a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy and compassion. So is it something you're born with, or is it something you develop over time? I know you talked about your mum, but what if you didn't have the seed?
I think anything can be taught. It obviously depends on the student and sometimes the teacher, but I do believe it can be taught. I don't think I was necessarily born with it, but I think it came from watching my mum and dad and watching the values that they believed in and the values that they instilled in us when we were young, of the difference between right and wrong and what to do. So, I mean, my sister is very, very similar in nature to me, and you know they've got just started their own church, and so they're doing a lot of the same things, just in a different way in a different field. But so 2 out of 2 ended up with those same values. So maybe it is slightly bred into you, but I think it was just something we were taught along the way, and I think anyone could probably learn it if they sort of chose to go down that path.
How are those qualities then impact on your business, your team?
Well, it's probably like I said in the speech, I'll probably never become the number one salesperson, because you don't, not knocking the people who are number one, but number one, you just go all the time. That's all you're really looking for.
Right.
So do I have a profitable business? Yes, I've got 4 of them. But are they the top businesses in the group? No, probably not, because there are levels that you either don't want to go to, not because they're wrong, but because it could be pushing people harder than you want to push them. So sometimes my sales team could probably get it a little bit easier than some of the other sales teams, because I do worry about their families and I do worry about them, and I sort of will sometimes want to put the brakes on a little bit before them. So It does probably affect your business, but having said that, if you've got the right values and virtues and you're doing the right thing by people, the business comes into you anyway. Right. So it's not necessarily a loss, and I don't think it is really a loss. I think you probably could be number one and still do it. I just probably find I maybe don't want to be number one, but I just find that I value a lot of those other things more, and will put the time and the energy into those rather than making that extra call or doing that extra listing or whatever's taken.
Right. So what would be those things that you value more? I mean, just to name a few.
Look, it's family.
Right.
It's people. It's people in general. I mean, we just had a situation in the last week where I found out that one of our tenants, that the property is about to go for sale, is due to have a baby in 10 weeks. So I've spoken to the owner about how we maybe adjust when that marketing might commence, because she didn't really have a deadline. Just because I know that, we put it on the market in 2 weeks and it sells in the first 2 weeks, that poor tenant could be moving out while she's in labour. So I don't think that's the right thing. So, and do I know that person? Never met them personally until last week, but do they matter to me? Yes, because they're another human being and they're another person, and something I'm about to do that didn't have to happen right then could be delayed. And that's how we sort of look at everything.
Yes.
It's the person who, you drop something at the shops, and yes, we might be worried about catching COVID, but if they can't bend over and they're a bit older and you've got to, slip in under a trolley and help them pick it up or whatever, you just do those things. You just No, and you teach your family, your staff, your children, everyone to do that. So
what you're talking about is the balancing act between the pursuit of peak performance with quality of life.
Yes.
Isn't it? And there's nothing wrong. Some people would want to go just for peak performance no matter what. And others would only create a business because they just want quality of life.
Yes.
When you get to balance it, meaning you push performance to a high level, but never at the expense of quality of life, then I think that is, to me, the optimum level of a business.
Yep, have to be.
Yes.
Sure.
And in order to do that, you really need the quality of compassion, because you have to see way before your salesperson is exhausted.
Yeah.
You have to look at things and comprehend that your property manager is getting to a point where they really need help now, way before they even ask for help.
But you also have to have that relationship with their families, because sometimes it's the families who are going to give you the hint that they're reaching that point, because they can hide it from everyone, but you generally can't hide it from your partner. And having that relationship with them, that they'll even go, hey, listen, maybe, I don't know if you're aware of this, or, hey, I've heard this idea, and, sometimes it comes from them. So it involves everyone. It's a whole family event, and everyone should have that feeling that they can speak up if they need to and approach someone.
So you have your team members at your place?
We have in the past, probably not as regular as we should have. But it's something we've
with
certainly...
COVID, it's been a bit more difficult.
It was definitely harder last year, but we've sort of started this year already, and we've got plans to do that again. We've sort of... And I must say, having a very supportive partner in Lisa makes that a lot easier.
I was going to get there.
Yeah.
You jumped that question.
But it's true, and it's something because of that reason, because, she's even planning with me now who should come next, and, I've seen that person. So... having met someone who I am so similar to, it's like having a second me out there, because she'll often pick up before I've had the chance to go, hey, I think we should talk to this person, or, hey, do you want to run by and have a chat to them? So it's like, I say, a second set of eyes out there for me. But having that support to have people home, I mean, there's, times in my life where having a staff member even come to our front doorstep was an imposition, not by my choice, but that was the situation I was in.
Yes.
So to be able to welcome any of the team or their family or anyone into your home is just such a blessing.
I wanted to also ask you, because I saw what happened at Kickstart this year. Right at the end of Kickstart, a lot of people just had to go back to their office, and a lot of people had to go home to their family. You somehow just stayed back and got your business partners to really stay back for one more day. And there were things that you really did with them. That was the beginning of really getting closer, right? Every single time that there is an event, I think you take advantage to just build the bridge even more stronger. So can you share with us, what did you do that night? What did you do the next day with these people?
Well, we've got two sets of partners. We've got the Richmond and Penrith partners, but then we've got the Port Macquarie and Foster partners. So
Right.
it's a lot easier for Richmond and Penrith because they get to see me every day. We're a lot closer. We live closer. So I need to always take advantage of Port Macquarie and Foster teams, that when I can be closer to them and spend some time with them, we do that, because they don't sit by me every day like the others do. So we had a dinner on the Tuesday night after Kickstart finished.
Yes.
And it was a fun dinner as well, but there were certain things we talked about and some decisions we made at the same time. Then we had breakfast again on Wednesday morning. And once that was finished, we sat down and had a bit of a planning meeting and putting some of the work that we'd done through Kickstart into play. And then we made a series of videos about what Kickstart involved. And then, unbeknown to them, we interviewed a couple of the winners and the finalists that we had as well from our management team, and we did some videos on them. So it was which was great, because we've just spent some money on buying some nice new audio equipment to make our videos good quality, because if you're going to do it, you should do it right.
Yes.
So that was a good chance to immerse them into how easy it is to use this new equipment, but at the same time get them out of their comfort zone to start talking. And each of them all had the opportunity to stand in front and be the camera person as well as being the interviewer, and then, of course, get interviewed. So they were so comfortable with it, they can now take that back to our team and do the same thing. So it was just a great chance to spend time with them and realise that we're all equal and we're all the same people. And that's the importance of my team. It doesn't matter whether you're the biggest shareholder, the smallest shareholder, or the newest person in our team. You all have an equal voice and an equal chance to be involved in our future.
Yes. One of the things that I remembered, even from reading my own journal during the course, was that people will always forget what you say to them, even the kind words, the compliments when they need one, or the comfort. People will always remember the great actions you did for them, the gift you did, the time that you spent around them when they're down, the time when they have issues and you had to go and somehow do some kind of salvation, if you call it, or rescue.
Yes.
But people will never forget the way you make them feel. And I think that if there is one thing that you do way, way better than me, is the way you make people feel is through your kindness, where sometimes maybe I'm the brutal kind of guy. I don't mean it to be this way, but the delivery is definitely more brutal.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're a bit harsh on yourself, really, in saying that. I mean, I'm never much of a compliment person. You know, to have to give someone a compliment, sometimes it comes naturally, sometimes I have to think of it, because I know that particular person will run way more on a compliment than they will on me making them how they feel. So everyone's different. But it's just letting everyone feel important. I mean, everyone's different. They all need to feel important for different things, or they need to feel that kindness or that love or the warmth that you've got to offer. But you just know what each person wants, and sometimes you're wrong. And I've had to look at how someone responds because wasn't really getting through to them. But then you realise what their trigger point is and what makes them happier, and you then tailor it to them. I mean, we spend more time. Fortunately, you and I both work with our partners, so it's a lot easier than most people. But for the average person, they spend more time with the people at work than they do with the people at home. Right. So they need to be our family. They need to feel comfortable, and they need to feel valued and loved and supported at the same time.
I mean, there's some people listening to this who'll be saying, really, do I care? I don't work with people. People work for me. I create the business so that the business can make money for me. I really don't care about the human factor. You know, one of the documentary that I watched lately was about Diego Maradona. And in many ways, it was a sad story because he was actually used by people more than we thought. We thought that he was the villain, but he was being used and probably abused in such a way that he auto-destruct himself. So what if people were saying to you, really, do I want to be the one who would work so I can get Bobbi-Jo or Ambassador or George and Tricia Butcher? I just want a business that makes money for myself. Those people, in many ways, have got the right to think that way, but they need to understand that we're building then very different businesses.
That's right.
Isn't it?
Yep.
In on the one hand, you're building a business where you treat people as if they're family. Now, in counterpart, they have to treat you as if you're family too. But on the other hand, those people would have a business where it's dog eat dog, mercenary, vultures kind of mindset, where you break values to get your ways. And it's a very different kind of business we built.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that. I mean, you know, our newest team member has been with us for 2 years.
Yes.
Then after that, it sort of jumps to like 3 and then 5, and there's plenty of people up to the long service leave bracket. And if they're happy, they stay. Yes. If they're not happy, then they start looking around, or they're easily. I mean, my team have on numerous occasions have told me that someone's tried to approach them and offer them more money or a better terms and conditions, and they say, before they tell me, we're not even considering this. And that's the sort of, again, that's just a byproduct of the fact that you just want to be nice to people.
Yes.
I don't do any of this because I want to try to hold my people there longer. I'd love anyone who wants to go, they can fledgling and do something better, let them go.
Yes.
But if you're nice to people and it keeps them there, it makes life. I mean, you know, as you well know, I don't like conflict. So to build a business built around conflict and thou shalt do this and thou shalt do that, I don't want to have a business like that. I can do conflict when I need to, but, you know, that's not me to do that. So to build a business that has all those virtues and the values that you can show people and has everyone happy at the same time, it just makes sense to me and promotes people to stay longer and feel part of your team and valued, then why not?
What's in 2021? I mean, you've done 5 times ambassadors in a row. You've done trifectas. What's in 2021?
Well, look, 2021 is a very, very big recruiting year for us. We've already hired some people. I think we're up to 4 people so far that are due to come on board within the next month or so, and that we're not stopping there. So I think for us, and especially for me, I would certainly like to see that we could start moving towards the Office of the Year, probably the Leader of the Year. I'd love to see our property management team come up as, Property Management Team of the Year again. But I think seeing some of my people achieve, I mean, some of them now after seeing my wins and the finalists of a couple of wins of a couple of other people in our team, is that it's not out of the reach for any of them. Right. So to see them be able to blossom and get nominated for an award and then become a finalist and even then go win it, that is more exciting than me winning an award.
That's so kind, so nice of you. Mate, I thank you very, very much and congratulations again on your wins.
Thank you.